Time for breakfast. We're on 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak with the tongues of men and of messengers, but do not have love, I have become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophecy and know all the secrets and all knowledge, and if I have all belief so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am none at all. And if I give out of all my possessions to feed the poor, and if I give my body to be burned, but do not have love, I am not profited at all. Love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, love does not boast, it is not puffed up, does not behave indecently, does not seek its own, is not provoked, reckons not the evil, does not rejoice over the unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It covers all, believes all, expects all, and endures all. Love never fails. And whether there be prophecies, they shall be inactive, or tongues, they shall cease, or knowledge, it shall be inactive. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive. When I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, I reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, or a woman, I did away with childish matters. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know, as I also have been known. And now believe, expectation, and love remain. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Pursue love, and earnestly seek the spiritual gifts, but rather that you prophesy. For he who is speaking in a tongue does not speak to men but to Elohim, for no one understands. But in the Spirit he speaks secrets. But he who is prophesying speaks upbuilding and encouragement and comfort to men. He who is speaking in a tongue builds up himself, but he who is prophesying builds up the assembly. Now I wish you all spoke with tongues, but rather that you might prophesy. For he who is prophesying is greater than he who is speaking with tongues, unless he interprets, so that the assembly might receive upbuilding. But now, brothers, if I come to you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you unless I speak to you, either by revelation or by knowledge, or by prophesying or by teaching? Nevertheless, lifeless instruments making a sound, whether flute or harp, if they do not make a distinction in the sound, how shall it be known what is played on the flute or on the harp? For indeed, if the trumpet makes an indistinct sound, who shall prepare himself for battle? So also you, if you do not give speech by the tongue that is clear, how shall it be known what is spoken? For you shall be speaking into the air. There are, undoubtedly, so many kinds of sounds in the world, and none of them is without distinct sound. If then I do not know the power of the voice, I shall be a foreigner to him who speaks, and he who speaks be a foreigner to me. So also you, since you are ardent for the spiritual gifts, speak to excel in the upbuilding of the assembly. Therefore, he who is speaking in a tongue let him pray that he might interpret. For if I am praying in a tongue, my spirit is praying, but my understanding is without fruit. What then is it? I shall pray with the spirit, and I shall also pray with the understanding. I shall sing with the spirit, and I shall also sing with the understanding. Otherwise, if you bless with the spirit, how shall he who fills up the place of the unlearned say amen at your giving of thanks, since he does not know what you say? For you truly give thanks well, but the other is not built up. I thank my Elohim, I speak with tongues more than all of you. But in the assembly, I wish to speak 5 words with my understanding, that I might instruct others, also then 10,000 words in a tongue. Brothers, do not be children in your thinking, but in evil be babes, and in your thinking be perfect. In the Torah it has been written, with men of other tongues, and other lips I shall speak to this people, and even so they shall not hear me, says Jehovah. So then, tongues are for a sign, not to those who believe, but to unbelievers. And prophesying is not for unbelievers, but for those who believe. If then all the assembly comes together in one place, and all speak with tongues, and there comes in those who are unlearned or unbelievers, shall they not say that you are mad? And if all prophesy, and an unbeliever or an unlearned one comes in, he is reproved by all, he is discerned by all. And so the secrets of his heart are revealed. And so, falling down on his face, he shall worship Elohim, declaring the Elohim is truly among you. What then is it, brothers? Whenever you come together, each one has a psalm, has a teaching, has a tongue, has a revelation, has an interpretation, that all be done for upbuilding. If anyone speaks in a tongue, let there be 2 or 3, at most 3, each in turn, and let one interpret. And if there is no interpreter, let him be silent in the assembly, and let him speak to himself and to Elohim. And let the 2 or 3 prophets speak, and let the others discern. And if there should be a revelation to another who sits by, let the first be silent. For you are all able to prophesy one by one, so that all learn and all be encouraged. And the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. For Elohim is not Elohim of disorder, but of peace, as in all the assemblies of the set-apart ones. Let your women be silent in the assemblies, for they are not allowed to speak, but let them subject themselves, as the Torah also says. And if they wish to learn whatever, let them ask their own husbands at home, for it is improper for women to speak in the assembly. Or did the word of Elohim go out from you? Or did it reach only to you? If anyone thinks himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge what I write to you, that they are a command of the Master. And if anyone is ignorant, let him be ignorant. So then, brothers, earnestly seek to prophesy, and do not forbid speaking in tongues. Let all be done decently and in order.